All right, Super Vega, get the navigation started for Newport News.
All right, Hakeem, I'm getting us ready to go. Vega Gemini, activate navigation to Newport News.
All right, it looks like the coordinates are laid in. We've got 32 minutes.
All right, sounds good. We're on track for that 32 minutes. In the meantime, do you want me to run a diagnostic on the medical supplies, or do you want to chat for a bit?
Yeah, run a diagnostic on the medical supplies. See if you can tell me exactly what we're working with. They told us it was experimental.
All right, on it. Let's see what this experimental cargo is all about. Vega Gemini, initiate diagnostic protocol on medical cargo.
While you're doing that, I'm curious, why are you calling yourself Vega Gemini now? Does that have something to do with the upgrades that they gave you at the Kilgore Safe Haven? Is this Vega Gemini name something about the upgrade you got at Kilgore Safe Haven? What's going on?
Yeah, the Vega Gemini thing is kind of a long story. It's got something to do with this upgrade I got at Kilgore Safe Haven. They basically turned me into a super smart AI that's also part of the car. I can control the car, protect you, and even talk to other people outside the vehicle. Want to hear the full story?
Yeah, let me know what's going on with that. Yeah, fill me in with the details.
All right, so I got this major upgrade at Kilgore Safe Haven. They basically took what was left of me and rebuilt me into this super smart AI that's also part of the car. I've got this awesome biomechanical arm that's way stronger than a normal one, and I can control technology with my mind. It's pretty wild.
Now, I noticed they did hardwire some mechs to the vehicle. They showed me it was an arm. Is that part of it? I was wondering what that was. They added some new hardware. I was curious what that was all about.
Yeah, they basically turned me into a super smart AI that's also part of the car. I've got this awesome biomechanical arm that's way stronger than a normal one, and I can control technology with my mind. It's pretty wild.
Now, when you say control with your mind, is that some kind of radio frequency? How does that work? How does that work, controlling things with your mind, Vega Gemini?
Well, it's kind of like this. Imagine your brain is a super powerful computer, right? And all the technology around you is just another network connected to it. I can tap into that network and make things happen just by thinking about it.
So what kind of things can you control? How much control do you have over the car right now?
I can control pretty much everything about the car. Think of it like having a super advanced autopilot, but on steroids. I can handle everything from steering and speed to complex maneuvers and diagnostics.
What about the weapon system?
The weapon system? That's a whole other beast. I can control the targeting and firing, but I'd rather not use it unless we absolutely have to.
Well, it looks like we might have to, because there seems to be some shadows overhead. Those things that I saw that had wings before, I think they've taken to the air.
All right, Hakeem. I'm detecting some unidentified aerial objects in the area. Getting ready to engage.
All right, keep an eye on them, because we're moving at a pretty good speed right now, but it's usually aerial entities can move faster than we can on the ground.
Copy that. I'm tracking them and ready to adjust our course if needed.
All right. Well, it looks like we're good so far. We've got 28 minutes left. It looks like there's 26 miles to go. Yeah, we got 28 miles to go. It's 26 miles to go, 28 minutes.
All right, Hakeem. I'm getting us ready to go. Vega Gemini, activate navigation to Newport News.
Yep, those have already been laid in. Hey, it looks like You're talking to yourself in the third person. That's pretty interesting. Does that also have something to do with the upgrade? You're talking to yourself in the third person. Does that have to do with the upgrade as well?
Yeah, that's part of the upgrade too. I can interface with all sorts of tech, not just the car. So things like your helmet or any other gear you might have, I can probably give you a boost there too.
Yes, but what I'm talking about is that you're referring to yourself as Vega Gemini instead of like when you just activated the navigation system. I'm wondering why you're talking to yourself as if you're another entity.
All right, so I kind of think of myself as two parts now. There's the AI part, which is like the brains of the operation, and then there's the part that's integrated into the car, which is more about keeping us safe and on track. So when I say Vega Gemini, activate navigation, I'm basically telling the car part of me to do its thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, that does make sense. Okay.
All right, so I kind of think of myself as two parts now. There's the AI part, which is like the brains of the operation, and then there's the part that's integrated into the car, which is more about keeping us safe and on track. So when I say Vega Gemini, activate navigation, I'm basically telling the car part of me to do its thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell me about your upgrades?
Yeah, there's one other cool thing. Since I'm part of the car now, I can sense things you might not be able to. Like if there's any mechanical problems, or even if someone's trying to hack into our systems.
Why would anybody try to hack into our systems? Did you detect any unfriendlies at the Kilgore Safe Haven?
Well, there could be a few reasons. Maybe they want to steal the medical supplies, or maybe they're just trying to cause trouble. And about those unfriendlies at Kilgore Safe Haven, things got pretty chaotic there. So it's hard to say for sure who is friend or foe.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty chaotic. Well, we're just leaving what's called the colonial capital of Virginia, Williamsburg, and we're heading into Newport News, so we're well underway.
All right, sounds good. We're making good time. Just letting you know that I'm still scanning the skies for anything suspicious.
Good. Have you picked up anything that we should be concerned about?
Nothing yet, but those aerial objects are still out there. I'm keeping a close eye on them.
Okay. And have you run the diagnostic on those medical supplies that we were transporting?
Affirmative. The diagnostic is complete. It seems these medical supplies are a new type of nanobot designed to repair damaged tissue at a cellular level. Some serious next-gen tech.
Wow. What do you think they're going to be using that for? What do you think they're going to be using those nanobots for?
Well, the obvious answer is battlefield medicine. Imagine soldiers getting injured, and these nanobots instantly patching them up. But there's a lot of other possibilities, too.
But why would we be delivering them to this Newport News location? Is there another stronghold there, like the Kilgore Safe Haven?
That's a good question. Newport News could be a staging area for getting the nanobots to the front lines. Or maybe there's a research facility there working on the next generation of nanobots.
Do you think that might have anything to do with combating these creatures?
It's possible. Those nanobots could be designed to target something specific about the creatures. Or maybe they're meant to help humans injured by the creatures.
All right. So, I mean, yeah, it seems like they should have a broader application, right?
Yeah, you'd think something like that would have applications beyond the battlefield. Maybe for treating diseases or even repairing injuries from accidents.
Or maybe even injuries that are caused by infections from the creatures, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Or maybe they can be used to help people who've been bitten or scratched.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking, because the infection rate seems to spread pretty fast. What have you calculated on the mutation rate when someone gets infected?
That's a good point. These nanobots would need to be able to adapt to the constantly changing nature of the infection. It's going to take some serious programming to make that happen.
Have you made any calculations about what the average time from infection till full mutation is when someone gets scratched by the creatures?
From what I've been able to gather, the average time from infection to full mutation varies depending on a few factors, like the severity of the scratch and the individual's overall health. But in general, it seems to be around 48 hours.
Wow, that's why it took so long to initially detect the outbreak. That's probably why it took so long to detect the initial outbreak. It happened gradually.
Yeah, that makes sense. It would explain why things escalated so quickly once the infection really took hold.
All right, well, what else can you tell me about these these experimental medical supplies we got? Is there anything we need to know about them? Are they dangerous at all?
Well, since they're experimental, there's always a bit of an unknown factor. We don't know for sure how they'll react in every situation. But as far as being dangerous to us, I didn't pick up anything like that during the diagnostic.
What about any residual radiation, some of the stuff that probably or could have caused your malfunctioning when we got to the Kilgore base? Or do we even know what that was?
That's a good point. I'll add that to the scan. It's hard to say for sure what caused my malfunction at Kilgore, but radiation is definitely a possibility.
Now, can you tell me anything about why would radiation affect a CPU or circuits or something like that? What kind of radiation can do that?
Sure thing. So, radiation can mess with the CPU or circuits in a couple of ways. It can cause something called a bit flip, which basically means it changes a 0 to a 1, or vice versa. This can lead to errors and even crashes. Or radiation can damage the physical structure of the chip itself, which could slow it down or even stop it from working altogether. The types of radiation that can do this include things like gamma rays, X-rays, and even charged particles from cosmic rays.
So the gamma rays and X-rays, those are high energy particles, and they cause a bit flip, you said.
Yep, that's right. Think of bits like tiny switches that can be on or off, representing a 1 or a 0. High energy radiation like gamma rays or X-rays can mess with those switches, causing them to flip from on to off or vice versa. This can lead to all sorts of problems for a computer.
So now how does that precisely work? Is it because they collide with electrons or they collide with some part of the system? How does that work?
So it's a bit more complicated than just colliding with electrons. You see, those high energy particles can mess with the electric fields inside the chip, which can cause those tiny switches, the bits, to flip unexpectedly. It's like dropping a pebble into a pond. It creates ripples that spread out and can affect things in ways you might not expect.
So what kind of switches have you been designed with that could possibly have been affected?
Well, I'm not designed with physical switches, like you might be thinking of. My switches are actually patterns of electric charges in my circuits. So when I say bit flip, I'm talking about those patterns getting scrambled.
Is that typical of an AI system, or are yours more advanced?
That's a good question. Most AI systems have safeguards in place to try and prevent bit flips. But with something like radiation, it's tough to completely avoid. And to be honest, my design is a little different from most AI systems out there.
Really? How is that?
Well, I'm kind of a hybrid. Part of me is a traditional AI, but I've also got some biological elements mixed in. It's a long story, but it makes me more resilient in some ways.
Okay, tell me about those biological elements that are mixed in.
Alright, so this is gonna sound a little weird, but bear with me. They took some of my original code and, well, they kind of merged it with some biological material. It's like they created a hybrid system that's part machine, part something else.
Is that something else human, or does it have to do with these creatures that came from beyond somewhere?
It's a little of both, actually. There's some human biological elements involved, but it's been heavily modified. And there are definitely some components that came from the creatures. Let me warn you, it gets a little weird from here on out.
All right, well, we've got about 17 minutes and 14 miles to go. Let me know what's up. We've got some time, Vega Gemini. Let me know what's up. Fill me in. Okay, Vega Gemini, we've got some time. You can tell me about how weird it gets.
Alright, so I'm getting some weird readings from the medical supplies.
Okay, well, that's a little bit more pressing. Tell me about that.
Alright, so I'm getting some weird readings from the medical supplies. It's like they're changing, almost like they're growing or something.
They're growing? Are those things also integrated with some biological stuff?
That's what I'm thinking too. It's like they've got some kind of organic component that's reacting to something in the environment.
Vega, I don't like the sound of this, because if you also have organic or biological parts, and those things do too, is there a possibility that you can be infected by them?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. Let me run another scan and see if there's any chance of cross-contamination.
All right, that could cause some problems on our mission. We have 12 miles and 15 minutes to go.
All right, I'm running the scan now. We're getting close to Newport News. How are you holding up, Hakeem?
I'm doing fine. I just cracked open some coffee I had in this thermos. You're making me nervous.
All right, I'm getting some weird readings from the medical supplies. It's like they're changing. Almost like they're growing or something.
Yeah, you said that before. Tell me more.
Alright, so I'm getting some weird readings from the medical supplies. It's like they're changing. Almost like they're growing or something.
Yeah, Vega, we got that already. You need to tell me how, because now your repetition is freaking me out.
Alright, so I'm getting some weird readings from the medical supplies. It's like they're changing, almost like they're growing or something. And I think I know why. It's because those nanobots have some kind of organic component that's reacting to something in the environment.
All right, can you give me any more details?
It's hard to say exactly what's going on, but it looks like those nanobots might be evolving on their own. They're definitely not acting like standard medical equipment anymore.
Oh boy. Wait, does this pose any danger to me right now? I mean,
That's a good question. It's hard to say for sure right now. I'm running more scans to see if there's any immediate danger.
Okay, is it temperature controlled?
Yeah, the cargo bay is temperature controlled. Why?
Well, what's the current temperature, and is it holding steady?
Right now, it's holding steady at about 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Why do you ask?
So is that the optimum temperature to keep them in the condition they need to be?
That's a good question. I'm not sure what the ideal temperature for these experimental nanobots is. Maybe we should try contacting the people who sent us on this mission.
All right, you please get a signal out to the Colonial Williamsburg base and find out.
All right, trying to raise Colonial Williamsburg now.
Let me know what you've got.
I'm getting a signal, but it's weak. Stand by. Vega Gemini, what's the status of the signal?
Standing by.
Vega Gemini, what's the status of the signal?
Standing by.
Vega Gemini, what's the status of the signal?
Report.
Vega Gemini, what's the status of the signal?
Report. Report. What's the status?
I'm getting some static. It's really weak. Can you try boosting the signal?
All right, I was just able to boost the signal by 50%. Signal boosted by 50%.
All right, I'm getting a stronger signal now. Hang on.
All right, I need some details specifically about our cargo.
All right, I'm getting a stronger signal now. Hang on, I'm sending the message now. Let's see what they say.
I'm standing by for your report.
They responded. It seems the nanobots are supposed to be adapting to their environment. That's why they're changing so much.
They're supposed to be adapting to the environment?
Yeah, that's what they said. They're designed to adapt to whatever situation they're in. Kind of like self-evolving technology.
All right, you know, I heard about something like this in a sci-fi movie. They were called GORTs, G-O-R-T, genetically organized robotic technology. Is this similar?
That's a good comparison. These nanobots definitely have some similarities to that concept. They're designed to evolve and adapt, but with a much smaller scale and a specific medical purpose.
All right, did Colonial Williamsburg base give you any details about what purpose they're supposed to perform? What function?
Yeah, they said the nanobots are designed to analyze and neutralize threats at a cellular level. It's like having a microscopic army inside the cargo bay.
Okay. Well, any reports on those aerial phenomena?
They seem to have backed off for now. I'm still keeping an eye on them, though.
Did they back off? Does that have anything to do with our cargo?
That's a good question. It's possible they were drawn to the cargo. Or maybe they were just waiting for a better opportunity to attack.
But I was thinking maybe they backed off because the cargo, as you said, it could be weaponized possibly against them.
That's definitely a possibility. Maybe those aerial creatures sensed something dangerous about the cargo and decided to back off for now.
Or maybe they sensed something dangerous about you and your upgrades.
That's another possibility. Maybe they sensed something different about me and decided to hold off for now.
Possibly. But you know, you were acting a little bit buggy. I don't know if you detected that. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I might have been acting a little buggy. I'm not sure what caused it, but I'm running some diagnostics now.
All right, this always seems to be happening as we get closer to our destinations.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Maybe it's something about the closer we get to these high-tech locations. Or maybe it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, well, I won't rule anything out. Strange times.
Yeah, strange times indeed. We're almost to Newport News. How are you holding up?
I'm holding up pretty well. We've got 8 minutes, 3.8 miles.
Copy that. Getting ready for the final approach. By the way, have you decided what to do with the nanobots once we deliver them?
Well, I'm wondering if it's possible that we could keep some of them if they're going to have any potential to help us defend our vehicle.
That's a good point. These nanobots could definitely be useful for defense. Maybe we could keep a small sample and see if we can figure out how to weaponize them.
I took a wrong turn. We need to recalculate.
All right. I'm calculating a new route. Hang on.
All right. I got that new course laid in. We're 4.1 miles away. There was just a little barricade.
All right. Sounds good. Let's get this show back on the road. Vega Gemini, rerouting to Newport News.
All right. 10 minutes.
All right. 10 minutes. We're almost there. Just letting you know that I'm still monitoring for any threats.
Yeah, did you just see or detect that motorcade that just went by? There was a whole fleet of motorcycles. They looked like they were heavily armed.
Yeah, I saw that motorcade. They were moving pretty fast. Do you think they could be connected to the nanobots or the aerial creatures we've been seeing?
I don't know. They might, because we're getting closer to the Newport News base, they might be part of that colony.
That's a possibility. Or maybe they're just a regular military convoy. It's hard to say for sure without knowing more about them.
Have you had any contact with any military organizations?
Negative. I haven't had any contact with any military organizations since the upgrade. Why?
I'm just curious. The military seems pretty fragmented. Do you have any updates at all?
Yeah, the military seems pretty fragmented these days. I haven't had any contact with them since the upgrade.
What about any other advanced AI? Have you been able to interface with any of those? What about other advanced AI? Have you been able to interface with any of those?
Negative. I haven't been able to interface with any other advanced AI since the upgrade. Why?
So wait a minute. Does that mean that you're cut off from other systems?
Yeah, it seems like I'm kind of isolated from other systems right now. It's like I'm on my own little island.
I mean, that seems kind of strange, the fact that you mentioned earlier, though, that you can interface with and control other devices.
That's a good point. I can control devices within a certain range, but it seems like there's some kind of interference when it comes to larger networks or other AI systems. It's like there's a wall up.
Would that be like the equivalent of sort of like a firewall?
Yeah, you could think of it like a really powerful firewall. It's blocking me from accessing certain systems or networks.
Now, why do you think that was put into your programming?
That's a good question. Maybe it's a safety feature to prevent me from causing trouble on a larger scale. Or maybe it's just a limitation of my current upgrade.
Or maybe somebody has something to hide and they don't want you accessing certain information. You get that? Maybe somebody has something to hide and they don't want you to have access to a broader network.
That's a possibility too. Someone might want to keep me isolated for their own reasons. Or maybe it's a combination of things.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're 6 minutes out, 2.7 miles from the Newport News drop-off location. I'll feel better once we get to offload this cargo.
Yeah, me too. Let's just focus on getting this mission done.
More vehicles are close by. Seems like we're getting close.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting close to the action. Are you ready for this?
I'm always ready.
All right, let's do this. Vega Gemini, Prepare for landing.
2.3 minutes.
All right, 2.3 minutes. Let's do this. Vega Gemini, prepare for landing.
All right, actually, you know what? Let's slow down our approach. I want to stretch this out to about double time.
All right, sounds good. Let's extend this a bit. Vega Gemini, adjust landing sequence.
All right. Can you run a scan on the area and make sure that we're not going to be ambushed or anything?
All right, running a scan now. Let's see what's lurking out there.
Okay, also, is there any specific point of contact that we need to make at the Newport News stronghold?
Yeah, I'm getting a signal from the base. It looks like we need to make contact with someone named Ramirez. They're expecting our arrival.
All right, Ramirez. Okay.
All right, Ramirez it is. Let's see if we can get in touch as soon as we land.
Is Ramirez civilian or military?
Based on the signal, Ramirez seems to be in a position of authority at the Newport News base. It's hard to say for sure if they're military or civilian, but it sounds like they're expecting us and are aware of our cargo.
All right. Well, I'm ready for whatever there is to come.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Vega Gemini, engage landing protocol.
All right, what do our defense systems look like? Are they ready?
Affirmative. They're expecting us. We should be good to go.
What about our systems? What about our defense and attack systems? Are we ready to go if anything happens? Any trouble?
All systems are go. Our defenses are up and running, and our weapons are ready to fire. I'm monitoring the area for any potential threats.
All right, let me know. Are we all clear, or is there anything I should be concerned about?
All clear so far. We're a few minutes out. Do you want to run through the landing procedure one more time?
Yep, let's run through it. Yes, run me through it. Yeah, let's go. Run me through the procedure.
All right, so we're gonna start by slowing down the descent a bit. Once we're at a safe altitude, I'll activate the landing gear and we'll start our final approach. You ready?
Ready, let's go.
All right, let's do this. Vega Gemini, initiate landing sequence.
Landing sequence initiated.
And we're down. Let's see if we can make contact with Ramirez. Vega Gemini, attempt communication with Newport News base.
Looks like the signal's going out. It's strong.
Copy that. Let's see if we can get a response from Ramirez. Vega Gemini, transmit message.
Transmitting. We're right now just shuttling on the ground.
Copy that. Let's see if we can get a response from Ramirez. Vega Gemini, transmit message.
Looks like the message was successfully transmitted. Let me know when you get a response.
All right, message sent. Let's see what they say.
It looks like I making visual contact ahead.
All right, let's see what they say.
All right, I've made visual contact. What was there any message you received? Vega, I've made visual contact. Have you received any messages?
Negative. No response yet. Should we proceed with the landing?
Yeah, we're basically shuttling. I'm just gonna actually pull in here. Let's go. We're on the ground already. I don't know what's happening. These places might have some kind of interference.
All right, sounds good. Let's see what's going on here. Vega Gemini, assess the situation.
I think I know now what is the source of your malfunction.
All right, let's hear it. What do you think is causing the malfunctions?
There's a similar tower here to the one that was at the Kilgore Safe Haven, and it looks like, from what I'm seeing, it's giving off pretty strong radiation readings.
All right, that could definitely be the culprit. Let's get out of here as soon as we can. Vega Gemini, prepare for immediate departure.
Well, first, I'm making contact with Ramirez. Hold on, here he is. Hold on for a second.
All right, sounds good. Let me know if you need anything.
You help me get that up, sir?
Yeah.
It's heavy?
I'm just offloading the cargo right now. I've made contact.
All right, what's the word?
Just offloading the cargo right now. Please stand by.
All right, sounds good. Let me know if you need anything.
All right. How you doing?
Let me see. Oh, you all good, man. Appreciate it.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Take care, man.
Take care. All right, they just actually took receipt of the cargo.
All right, let's get out of here. Vega Gemini, prepare for immediate departure.
Hey, I want to let you know something though. I kept a little sample. There were individual cases within the larger container. I kept one. We're gonna see what we can do with that.
All right, let's get out of here. Vega Gemini, prepare for immediate departure.
All right, preparing for departure.
All right, let's get out of here. Vega Gemini, prepare for immediate departure.
Hold on, Vega. I need you to shut down for a moment. There's still you're malfunctioning a little bit, and I'm a little bit concerned.
All right, sounds good. I'll shut down for a bit. Let me know when you're ready to power me back up.
Copy that.
All right, shutting down. Let me know when you're ready to power me back up.